The day Claude Design 2.0 launched, Figma's stock dropped by exactly 7%.
Yeah, and whether that was just algorithmic market noise or, genuine panic, investors were absolutely paying attention. It signaled a massive shift.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are exploring a paradigm shift that might fundamentally change how you work. We are unpacking the massive June 2026 update to Claude Design, version 2.0. Over the next bit of time, we'll break down the exact 6-step workflow. We will explore how it allows you to hand off a project directly to Claude Code. You do not have to start over. It is a seamless transition.
It really is. We are officially moving away from those flashy viral demo videos. We are entering the era of a highly structured production-ready workflow.
I think we need to define the underlying mechanics first. We know the market reacted sharply. But what exactly did Anthropic build here? Like, if I am a user, what is actually happening under the hood?
Right. So Claude Design is essentially a specialized workspace. It's built directly into the Claude interface. You describe what you need in plain language, but instead of returning a block of text, it builds a working first version. It actually outputs live HTML. You can click through it, resize it, and test the responsive logic right away.
So it is not just generating a static image file, it is spinning up a virtual DOM in the browser.
Precisely. It is interactive from the very first prompt. And here is a crucial technical detail. During the initial setup, Claude Design actually reads your existing code base.
Wait, really? It reads the code?
Yeah. It parses your current design files. It analyzes your CSS variables, your component states, and, your typography scales.
Yeah.
It builds a custom design system from what it finds.
Oh, wow.
So every project after that automatically follows your specific brand guidelines.
It's like having a junior designer and a front-end developer sharing a single brain.
That is a brilliant way to picture it. They are working in parallel. But accessing that shared brain comes with a cost. Anthropic is not giving this away. There is no free tier for Claude Design.
Right. Let's talk about that cost of admission, because workflow tools only matter if the economics actually make sense for a team.
Absolutely. You need a paid plan. Pro is the entry point at $20 a month. Claude Design is bundled directly into that subscription. But if you need more scale,
for complex applications?
Exactly. There are higher tiers. Max 5X is $100 a month. Max 20X scales up to $200 a month.
And what about larger groups? Like, what is the enterprise play here?
Well, for collaborative teams, the standard tier starts at $25 a seat. The premium tier pushes up to $100 a seat. But if you are on an enterprise plan, you should know an important operational detail.
What's that?
It is actually turned off by default. An IT admin actually has to actively enable it in the organization's settings first.
Wait, so Claude Design and Claude Code share the exact same usage limits?
They do. It all pulls from the exact same token pool. Your chat history, Claude Cowork, Claude Code, and Claude Design. It is one unified computing budget.
Right, the same fuel tank, so heavy users will burn through their budget faster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is the fundamental tension of using AI for design. Rendering live HTML takes serious computing power.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So knowing it costs real money, Anthropic had to make the underlying architecture far more efficient. They had to make it worth the investment.
Let's examine the actual mechanics of the upgrade. What did the June 2026 update change to solve that friction?
There are 4 game-changing updates in version 2.0. The first is vastly improved design system imports.
Okay.
You can now pull your entire design system directly from a GitHub repository, or you can just use raw file uploads.
The GitHub integration is fascinating. How does it actually parse a sprawling repository to understand a design system?
It analyzes the abstract syntax tree of your code base. It maps the dependencies between your React components, your styling sheets, and your design tokens. And once it maps that architecture, Claude Design uses your actual approved components. Plus, admins can now lock down those components at the organizational level. Teams simply cannot override those brand standards.
Pete, I love that. Developers despise rogue components slipping into production.
Yeah.
Locking that down is huge. What is the second major update?
Direct canvas editing. This is a massive user experience upgrade. You can drag, resize, and align elements directly on the canvas interface.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you do all of this manual manipulation without writing any text prompts.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself, so just dragging an element on a canvas instead of typing a paragraph is a relief.
It removes so much cognitive friction. In older models, if you wanted to move a button 2 pixels to the left, you had to explain that in natural language.
Right, and it would mess something else up.
Exactly. The AI might accidentally change the button color while moving it. Yeah, you just manipulate the DOM directly.
Does direct canvas editing actually save you from hitting your token limits?
It absolutely does, because you aren't sending a massive new text prompt to the LLM for every tiny visual adjustment. You just move the bounding box yourself.
Makes sense. Manual tweaks bypass the AI, saving your tokens for the heavy lifting.
Precisely. You save the expensive inference engine for the complex architectural work. Now, update number 3 is tighter code integration. Design and code now feature a real-time two-way sync.
How does that work in practice?
Well, inside Claude Code, you just type /design. It instantly opens a live visual canvas right there in your coding environment.
Right, and you don't even have to context switch out of your IDE.
Exactly. Designers and developers finally stay in perfect sync. Nobody has to rebuild a layout from scratch because the underlying code and the visual layer are fundamentally connected.
That's incredibly powerful.
It is. And finally, the 4th update relates directly to those token costs we analyzed earlier. They fixed the consumption rate.
Oh, they lowered it.
Yeah. They drastically reduced the average token consumption per turn by optimizing their routing models. You get significantly more mileage out of your subscription now.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
Sponsor by.
Okay, and we are back. We have thoroughly explored the upgraded architecture. We understand the token economics. But how do you actually drive this thing in reality? Like, how do you move from a blank screen to a polished presentation?
Let's walk through the exact 6-step workflow in practice. Step 1 is setting up your project with the correct context window. Claude Design is built to ingest way more than just, simple text prompts.
What kind of contextual data are we talking about here? How much can it hold?
A lot. You can upload complex Word documents, PowerPoints, or heavy Excel files. You can drop in direct links to your existing code base. You can even upload flat reference images.
Wow.
You are essentially preloading your project goal, your target audience demographics, and your desired visual style right into its short-term memory.
So let's play out a hypothetical scenario. Say I need to build a slide deck for a new product launch.
Okay, you would drop in your raw data files and write a clear initial prompt. Something like, create 3 slides introducing my new software service for enterprise clients. Use a bold professional style with an authoritative tone.
And it just builds the entire application structure from that.
In a single rapid pass. It vectorizes your documents, extracts the key arguments, and builds the layout. It selects the typography. It even generates contextual speaker notes based on the data you provided.
That is wild.
It's fast. And that leads us directly to step 2, which is checking the direction before you start editing.
Why is that a distinct step? What do you mean by checking the direction?
Well, Claude Design operates with a very specific philosophy. It doesn't usually pause to ask you clarifying questions.
Oh, it just goes for it.
It just builds the prototype. It will show a short diagnostic note explaining the architectural decisions it made. So your primary job is to review that first raw output. Make sure the logic is heading in the right direction before you start tweaking pixels.
That is a very deliberate design choice. It heavily biases toward action over deliberation.
It really does. It assumes that giving you something to react to is faster than interrogating you. If your initial context was solid, the output is usually remarkably close.
Right.
Which brings us to step 3. This is where you have to edit smartly. You use the direct canvas edits for the micro adjustments, fixing typos, tweaking font weight.
Saving the tokens, as we discussed.
Exactly. But you use the text prompts for the macro overhauls. Say you need to expand those 3 initial slides into a massive 10-slide presentation.
Okay.
You write a text prompt telling the model to expand the narrative arc of the deck. You explicitly tell it to preserve the existing visual identity and the specific accent colors.
And the model can handle that kind of structural leap without losing the plot.
Flawlessly. It maps the newly generated content seamlessly into the existing design language. It understands the spatial relationships.
That's impressive.
It is. Which brings us to step 4, the export phase. When the prototype looks good, you have 5 distinct export options to choose from.
Break down those export formats for me. How versatile is the output?
Very versatile. You can export a flattened PDF for quick sharing. You can export standalone HTML, which functions perfectly offline as a click-through web prototype. You can export an MP4 video up to 5 minutes long, which is great for asynchronous demos. You can download a complete project zip file with all the assets, or, critically, you can export a native PowerPoint file.
With all those export options, why is PowerPoint highlighted as the safest choice?
Because it preserves the underlying XML structure of the document. If you need to make granular changes later, a PDF is essentially locked. It rasterizes the text.
Right.
But a .pptx file retains all the editable layers, vector shapes, and text boxes.
Got it. PowerPoint files stay fully editable in both Keynote and PowerPoint later.
Exactly. It prevents vendor lock-in. Now, step 5 is arguably the most impressive technical achievement in the entire update. It is called screenshot styling.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Break down the mechanics of this.
Okay, imagine you need to perfectly match an existing corporate brand, but you don't have access to their proprietary design system files or their GitHub repo.
Yeah, pretty common problem.
Right. So you just open their public website and take a standard screenshot. You upload that flat screenshot directly into the Claude design workspace.
Just a standard flat image file, no metadata attached to it.
Just pixels. You attach the image and write a remarkably simple prompt, like using the visual style established in the attached screenshot, create a 10-slide pitch deck. Match the precise color palette, the typographic hierarchy, and the overall layout style.
And the vision model can extract the underlying design language just from analyzing those pixels.
Completely. It is performing complex spatial analysis. The source material highlights a very specific example of this in action. A user uploaded a screenshot, and the AI accurately identified a specific dark background hex code.
Wow.
It isolated a very specific gold accent typography. It recognized an editorial magazine-style layout structure. It then dynamically applied that complex visual formula instantly across all 10 newly generated slides.
2-sec silence.
Wow.
Whoa. Imagine just dropping a screenshot and the AI instantly maps that entire visual identity across a 10-slide deck.
It is genuinely staggering to watch it happen live. The final result looks absolutely nothing like Claude's default output style. A single reference image completely overrides the base styling and shifts the entire output logic.
So we now have our beautifully styled 10-slide presentation deck. But what if this concept needs to live on the actual web or inside a functional software application? Where does Claude Design sit compared to everything else out there in the market?
That brings us to step 6, the code handoff. This is the exact moment where Claude Design separates itself from the rest of the pack. When your visual draft is finally ready, you just click a button labeled Send to Claude Code.
It doesn't lose any of the styling data in that transfer.
Nothing gets lost. It transmits the layout coordinates, the exact color variables, and the structural logic. You don't have to rebuild the interface or describe your intentions ever again. The visual layer becomes the foundation for the code.
When you hand it off to Claude Code, does it automatically know what format you want?
No, it actually pauses the execution there. It will stop and ask you what specific kind of software architecture you were looking for.
So it stops and asks if you want a static site or React.
Exactly. It gives you architectural choices. You can choose a standalone static site that generates simple HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript. You can test the logic right in your local browser environment.
But static HTML is rarely enough if I am building an actual scalable web application.
Right.
What if I need functional code?
Then you would choose to generate a React component deck instead.
For those newer to this, React components are just reusable building blocks of code for web apps.
Precisely. They are modular and scalable. Or you could choose to export to reveal.js. That is a framework perfect for when you want presenter mode, slick slide transitions, and embedded speaker notes. Once you choose your framework, Claude Code builds the actual production files.
Is the generated code usually production ready right out of the gate? Or does it need human cleanup?
It is remarkably close, but you usually perform one final automated polish. You just prompt Claude Code to self-review its own work.
Oh, that's small.
Yeah, you explicitly tell it to verify the mobile resize behavior. You ask it to audit the touch targets for buttons to ensure accessibility compliance. You ensure the routing navigation works, all while strictly preserving that visual style we extracted earlier.
It acts as its own QA engineer. It checks its own homework before deploying.
It really does. And it cleans up those responsive layout issues almost perfectly.
It's beat. So if we step back and analyze the broader software ecosystem, there are a massive amount of design tools competing for attention right now. You have Figma, Canva, Gamma, V0, Framer. If you are a team leader, how do you decide when to use which specific tool?
It entirely comes down to your final production goal. Figma remains the absolute standard for pure product design and deep multiplayer team collaboration.
Right.
It is for when you need absolute pixel-perfect control over complex design systems. Canva, on the other hand, is optimized for quick social posts and marketing graphics. You use it when you need polished visual content incredibly fast.
And where does a tool like Gamma fit into this landscape?
Gamma is absolutely excellent for generating business documents, pitch decks, and clean internal reports. Then you have highly specialized tools like V0, which are engineered specifically for generating UI screens and complex React components rapidly. Framer AI is positioned for building live, publishable marketing websites with complex animations.
So where exactly does Claude Design fit into that crowded map? What is its unique value proposition?
Claude Design is strictly optimized for design-to-code workflows. It is best utilized when you want an AI workflow that moves aggressively from a conceptual visual idea into something you will actually keep building out with engineering code. Interactive slides, functional prototypes, dynamic one-pagers. You start in the visual realm and you push it seamlessly into production code.
It's like picking the right vehicle.
Yeah.
Canva is a scooter, Figma is a precision race car, and Claude Design is an all-terrain vehicle.
That is a perfect analogy. It gets you off the smoothly paved road of conceptual design straight into the muddy, complex terrain of actual software coding without ever making you switch vehicles.
Beat. So what does this all mean fundamentally? Let's bring this home for you listening today. Let's synthesize the impact.
The major conceptual takeaway here is that Claude Design 2.0 is no longer just a novelty toy. It is not just another viral demo generating pretty static pictures for social media.
It's a true workflow. It is an industrial tool.
It is a functional bridge. It takes you from a raw text idea or even just a single screenshot from the web all the way to a functioning interactive visual draft. And then it transitions seamlessly into a coded, deployable reality.
Yeah.
And through that entire journey, with powerful features like direct canvas editing and deep shared context, you remain firmly in the driver's seat.
It really is a remarkable evolution of how we interface with machines to build complex things. We are moving from giving instructions to having a collaborative, iterative dialogue with the software. Beat. I want to leave you with a thought to mull over today as we wrap up.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
If an AI vision model can look at a single, flat screenshot of a website, if it can perfectly extract its entire visual soul, the nuanced typography, the subtle mood, the exact hexadecimal colors, and then autonomously build a brand new, fully coded product from it in a matter of seconds, what does that actually mean for the future of having a unique digital identity? If style, taste, and aesthetics can simply be copy-pasted and reverse-engineered by a machine, maybe the only real differentiator we have left in the market is the actual fundamental quality of your underlying ideas.
Yeah, that is a heavy philosophical question. But it is an absolutely necessary one for designers and developers to face right now. The barrier to execution is dropping to zero.
We highly encourage you to test this out yourself. Take a screenshot of your absolute favorite website. Drop that image into the Claude Design workspace and just watch closely to see what it builds. It might permanently change how you view your own creative process and your value as a creator. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you next time. Out to your own music.